You can put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the center in the well.
Thank you.
This is a fun little dough. I'm glad that I've discovered it because I'm kind of afraid of the rising and the punching down and that sort of thing. I used to make homemade bread, but you had to keep the starter, and I had 3 children and they were small, and to keep up with a starter that I had to have babysat when I went on vacation and that kind of thing, I said, this is like having a 4th child. I just can't do this. So anyway, I like I think it's Mrs. Bickford that's down at the farmer's market.
Okay.
She makes wonderful sourdough bread, so she's my go-to.
There you go.
All right, if you want to pour that in the center.
Okay. Let's go ahead. And we just pour it in. And I hid the whisk.
Yes. We'll just start kind of like a biscuit dough. We're just going to start incorporating the dry into the wet.
And we don't have to let this rise or anything. We can just go ahead and start forming it. That's great.
Don't have to let it rise. That's what I thought was so wonderful.
My time management is the biggest thing for me. Is all right if I'm going to do it and I have to let it rise and stick it in the fridge and proof it and all that other stuff. Do I remember to start it? Back my time up and start it early enough that it's ready when I want it to be.
Exactly. And I'm usually last minute, so when I decide I want something, I'm on it, and I don't have time to. I don't usually do pre-things, but it's a little bit warm when you first get the water out, so you don't want to stick your hands down in it. But give it a second, and you're fine to just get in here with your fingers and incorporate all of that dry flour.
So the dough's just been in a ball while we were getting the other stuff.
Right. We're going to
Bowl's still warm.
We're going to sprinkle the flour onto the board. And before we do that, let's go ahead and prepare the pan now that you have actually helped me to get the spray open.
The trick spray can.
Exactly. This is a magic show. Okay, we're going to spray that with the coating. And then I like to take some coarse ground cornmeal and just sprinkle it over the top, and that way it loosens the pizza and lets it cook evenly on the bottom. Yeah, just a little trick, and then you get a little of that crunch.
Yeah. In a pinch, if you don't have cornmeal, you can use grits.
Absolutely. Okay. Get that out of the way, and let's go with our dough. Okay, it was a little bit sticky, but I think it's going to take the rest of that flour nicely. So we're going to put that on here. That's
Good deal.
done.
I'm going to scoot this out of the way.
We're going to knead it on our board in our flour. Might want to do your hands as well. I smell that garlic too.
That does smell good.
You smell that? Okay. We want to get the sticky out of it. Just a few more turns. Of course, we're going to make it round, so flour our.
So you just kneaded it with a little, just dusting it with flour, knead it until it wasn't very sticky anymore.
Right.
So you weren't trying to make it tough like a biscuit.
Right. Just a little bit.
You're not going to
tacky.
throw it. You were going to do the whole throw in the air.
I wish I could.
Sing a solo mio and throw it. No? Okay.
No, not today. Maybe next time. You come back. I'll have that practiced up. Okay. Does that look a little bit round enough?
Looks pizza-ish to me.
Okay. We're going to put a little more flour on there. Go back and get our pan. Okay. And I like to just sort of turn it up on this.
There you go.
Roll it up and then start
That
here.
way you don't wind up with the big oval pizza that's 3 feet long and 4 inches wide.
Right. So
That's a
we're
good
finished
trick.
with that. A little bit more flour. And then we'll just spread it into the shape of our pan.
There we go. You were good at that. You had it almost perfect to start with. Almost like you've done this before.
Okay, how about that?
Beautiful.
Okay, and let's take our brush and we'll go over the top with a little bit of olive oil just to get a nice brown.
Beauty. Now, did you take a painting class to learn to do this?
Does it look like it? That's pretty messy right there. All right. Okay.
I won't make a comment about you and my wife having the same painting class then.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're going to clear that, put it back on. Let's do about 425 again. And we'll pop that in there for about probably 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
That way the dough gets a little head start on the toppings. The cook time, there we go, that's 13, so that'll hold it.
All right.
Okay, I hear the buzzer for the pizza crust. Let's go ahead and pop that out and we'll let it be cooling.
Ooh, looks good.
That does look good. Smell that. Smell that garlic?
Yeah, that does smell
Okay, I'm
good.
going to prop that over on the cooling rack. Whoops. And I think we've gotten our bacon out, so I'm actually going to plate that up over here while it's cooling too.
Okay.
Okay, I like my bacon really crispy. It'll cook a little bit more when it gets on top of the pizza, but we'll go ahead and take that out. It's a little bit soft right there.
Still
in the
a little
middle.
flexible, but
But you can tell that good brown sugar topping is on it.
that looks good.
We need to do some green onions.
All right, some onion.
Onion. And about 6 would probably be fine. I'm going to use the same cutting board that I used for the pears.
Save on dishes.
Yes. I discovered these, our daughter, our oldest daughter, we didn't bring her with us to Minnville. She was already married, but her husband is military, and they were living in Brussels, Belgium, and she lived very, very close to the IKEA there. And I'd never even heard of an IKEA at that time. And so we would go over and visit, and then this is where we would end up, is at IKEA. And they have these wonderful little cutting boards, and every cutting board is for a specific thing. You've got your vegetables, you've got your chickens, you've got steak, you've got, So I discovered those and really, really enjoyed them. So I don't use them like that. I just grab whatever.
Whichever one's clean.
The idea was great. Yeah, we'll take some of the ends off of these. Get rid of those.
One of the neat things about these is they're flexible.
Yes.
So when you have to dump them in, you can kind of bend them just a little bit. Keeps everything from falling off the wrong side.
Right, and they do have a picture on them to tell you which one to use on it, but I just ignore that. We're just going to chop them up into little pieces.
Bacon has been crumbled, or cut in this case. The crust is ready. It's cooled a bit so that we can work with it now. So I guess it's assembly time?
It's time.
All right.
It's time. Put a little a rubber mat down so that it doesn't slide so badly. It is still a little bit warm, but you want to let it cool because we're going to top it with cream cheese. And so this is the spreadable cream cheese, but you don't want it to just melt and run off. So, and however thick you like it, works just fine either way. Green onions, got those chopped just for some really pretty color.
Very nice.
Make that the bottom layer. We cut the bacon, like I said, it had a little bit of a texture to it, so we were able to cut it with our scissors. If you like it a little more done, you could crumble it. So we're just gonna top it around. So I'm gonna lay them around. Got one slippery there getting away from me. And you can make that design or just, you know, whatever.
Or just throw them on.
Yeah, just throw them on. And I'm going to top it with some feta. I know.
Another flavor profile.
Yeah, this one is definitely bursting with lots of different flavors.
Definitely hitting the gourmet scene with this one. But it's still easy enough for you guys to try at home.
And I went to the farmer's market Saturday, but there wasn't a whole lot of basil going on down there, so I went to the store and bought a couple of plants, and so we'll just top it. Normally, I like to buy a flat, and I have a little garden out here that I use for my herbs, and I like to have fresh basil, because there's just something about it.
It smells
Something
so
about
good.
it. Smell that. Isn't that great?
I love fresh basil.
I'm going to top those so those leaves don't burn. And then this is just regular pizza cheese already in the bag. So a little semi-homemade. Everything doesn't have to be from scratch. Fresh Romano. Toss that on. Oh yeah, and this goes a long way. You know, when you start to grate it, it just fluffs right up and you have plenty before you know it.
Now, how long and what temperature?
We're gonna leave it at 400.
400.
And I'm gonna go about 10 minutes. and then check it, because really everything is fine as it is. You just want to make sure your cheese is melted.
All right, and
So-
we'll kind of warm it all the way through.
Exactly. So when your cheese is melted, your pizza's done.
All right.
That's why we pre-cook the dough. That
okay.
saves on some time. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. It's bacon pear pizza.
Now we'll just take our honey.
The final garnish.
And of course, this is just to taste, whatever you like, a little drizzle.
Wow.
It's about a teaspoon. And it'll just bring out the sweetness in the pears. And then, of course, if there's any crust that doesn't have any cheese on it, that gives you something to do with your crust.
Yeah, there you go. If you've got a great recipe you'd like to share with us, check us out on the website. It's yourplatesormine.net. Don't forget to send us an email, and who knows, we may come cook with you. Well, we dig in?
Let's dig in. Thank you.
Hey, we're here in McMinnville, Tennessee, with my friend and fellow foodie, Debby Boyd. Debby, thanks for having us in.
You're so welcome.
What, I'm that funny already?
Already.
All right. Need a bigger piece of bacon in this fight, though.
Do it. You can always add more bacon. More bacon's always good.
There it is.
Goodness. Uh-oh. One more blooper. Uh-oh.
This is the lock on.
Oh, is it a lock?
Lock turns, all right.
There you go. Okay.
So this is a low-cal diet pizza is what you're telling me.
Sure. Sure it is.
Bacon, cream cheese.
You should make a bacon diet.
Yeah, they should.